Hi, Art Seekers. We are here with a very special artist guest with Plin, who is wearing this amazing mask. I feel like we're both superheroes today, right in front of one of his works. And thank you so much. It's really cool to get to talk to you.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
So, how did you start to see the street as your canvas?
Um, well, I would say it started back when I was living in Paris as a 10-year-old, and I got really into skateboarding, actually. And I think that was the first time that, like, me and my friends started, first of all, exploring the city and feeling independent, but really seeing these unused urban spaces as potential kind of creative spaces that others would just use as transitional spaces or just even, junkie hangouts and stuff like that. So I think from there it was really a natural progression to start painting in them because I was already using them kind of in a different creative way. At the time when I came up with him, I was doing mostly just lettering, graffiti, but I was a little bit, I don't know, I was looking for an image that I could use in the same way. I was coming from kind of more traditional graffiti, and a lot of the emotions involved were more kind of those angst-ridden kind of frustration, aggression type ideas with the open mouth and this vocal, in your face kind of expression. But a lot of people actually see it as like a laughing figure or a happy, or they kind of project their own. Some people see it as angry too.
I think it's so successful because even though it's just visual, it still references another sense and it's auditory too. And so, what the figure is screaming or laughing, whatever the sound that comes out of its mouth is, we still get a sense of sound in addition to some kind of visual language.
Right. Yeah. For me, graffiti, especially in street art as well, is all about communication. The lettering is legible. It can be spoken. So I wanted to continue that tradition a little bit, and draw from that, and really emphasize the communicative aspect of it. That vocal expression, but without it necessarily being written word letter for letter or word for word. And I think it's important for any artist in the street to get that whole spectrum of scale and variety to really fill out the gaps. Otherwise, you end up doing one thing, and then that can be erased easier as well, or ignored.
How did you come up with your street moniker?
I'm from northern Italy, and Plin is a type of ravioli, agnolotto del Plin.
Who say it again?
Agnolotto del Plin, from Turin, and they stuff it with meat normally, and it's really, really delicious. And I just really like the word. It's simple, straightforward, three letters. You can say it. You don't have to be Italian to say it. It's a very direct word, easy to remember. But I just thought it was kind of funny, and it references my roots. And so Mr. Plin, Mr. Ravioli.
That's so great. And I love it. It seems like there are themes in your work that you want it to be on the one hand personal, but on the other hand universal. And the moniker fits in with that too because it has the the root in your history and your geography, but it also has that playfulness that anyone can really pronounce and understand in any language.
Right. Yeah, I think that's right. I have a kind of a bit of tension between those two sides, and I think that might come from my, because I have a little bit of a mix, I think, of graffiti and street art in my work. And for me, the big differences between the two are that street art is a very universal language that anyone can understand. It's a very open communication. I think sometimes too much, where it kind of dumbs down the people looking at it. And graffiti is the other extreme. It's a kind of codified cult language, right, that isolates a lot of people. And I like both a lot too. So I like the fact that graffiti isn't necessarily legible to everyone. It has its own kind of culture that you have to delve into to explore. But then I do think it's important that everyone can at least get a little bit out of it and relate to it in some way or interpret it. If it's completely blocking out most of the population, I think it's just not as powerful.
You have chosen to remain anonymous,
Mm-hmm.
right? Why have you chosen that, and do you think that that will ever change?
A lot of my work is renegade. Some of it is illegal, so just for my own, safety and being able to sleep at night, I prefer knowing that I'm taking some precautions at least
Sure.
to be careful in that way. But then also, it was something that attracted me about street art is the fact that you can do this anonymously, and it
Hmm.
opens up a lot of doors too, because you're not worrying about creating an image and stuff, of yourself as a person. It's just the work which speaks for itself in the street. And I think that's the real power of street art, is that your work gets judged really just for the quality and quantity and the location, and the person behind it doesn't really become, unless they market themselves a certain way or whatever, but the person behind it doesn't really become so important because you
Right.
don't see them ever. It's just their work in the street.